to Oracle. According to reports, when the Raptors were leading with 3 minutes to go, the trophy was getting set to be wheeled out, only to be wheeled back in. Nick, how did the Raptors respond after coming so close to winning the title?
Well, that is the defining question of Game 6. Because through 5 games, Toronto has flatly been better. What's the biggest? The Warriors won Game 2 because for 5 minutes they played almost perfect basketball, and the Raptors could not hit a shot in that 18-0 run to start the third quarter. The Warriors won Game number 5. Why? Well, you could argue because in the 12 minutes Kevin Durant played, they were +6. And in the other 36 minutes of the game, they were -5, and that's enough for the 1-point win. And because I thought the Raptors really melted down to a bit. Meltdown might be too strong. In the final 3 minutes, they didn't play their best basketball, and the Warriors played almost perfect offensive basketball, hitting those 3 3-pointers on 3 3-point field goal attempts. But how do you respond to being that close to a title? How do you respond for every player on the Raptors, Kawhi Leonard included, because he's a different place of his career, this being the crowning achievement of your athletic life, and then all of a sudden, you got to go cross-country into that building, a place that even though this year you have had success there, and a lot of teams have had success there, has been a house of horrors in this league for the opposition for a half-decade, and get a win to close it out right then? Or do you have a bit of a hangover from how close you were, and then all of a sudden, all the pressure rests squarely on your shoulders for Game 7? If they can respond to Game 6 like Game 5 didn't happen, they'll be the champions on Friday. Like they will be here Friday morning, they'll be the champions. But if they have a hangover at all, and the Warriors can jump out to a lead and Oracle gets running and Clay and Steph get going, then we could be headed for a Game 7 on Sunday, which I don't think the Raptors want any part in.
This is the thing that's funny. And you get into a series, it's amazing how we put more emphasis on what was the last thing that happened.
Of course.
Unless it was something significant as far as an injury, a person ejected. Like when you look at these teams and you look, we played 5 games, all right? There's 4 quarters of basketball. In those quarters, Toronto has been a better basketball team. Now, I don't know what people saw from a basketball strategy standpoint in game number 5 that they thought that, oh, Golden State got control of this. Golden State shot the ball, unbelievable, 23 pointers, all right? They made 12 more than the Raptors made. Now, you think that they're going to be able to do that in the NBA's final game again? No, they're not going to be able to do that. What about Boogie Cousins? What about Kevon Looney? That center position, you think they got that solved? No, they got huge problems. And if we go back to series number 1, round number 1, the Raptors are down to Orlando. Round number 2, they're down to Philadelphia. Round number 3, Eastern Conference Finals, they are down 2-0 to the Milwaukee Bucks. They haven't been down in this series because they've had control of the series. They have dominated the series. It has not changed. And the mystery of Kevin Garnett, Durant, he's not coming back. All right, so I think that the Warriors have more to respond to than the Raptors. Because you know what the Raptors have? A security blanket. We can have Game 7 back in our place. That's the luxury that we have. Also, we have the confidence of knowing that we can take this team apart the way we have the last week and a half. I think Toronto gets the win. I believe they celebrate in Oracle. Oracle is shut down with champagne, a lot like the Warriors and how they bragged about how they spilled champagne all in Cleveland's locker room.
Back in 2015.
Tomorrow night, it's getting ready to happen.
And so the reason that, and I agree with a lot of that the Raptors have shown you through 20 quarters. In those 20 quarters, they've won 15 of them, tied 2 of them, and only lost 3. Like, they have been the better team in this series. I understand that part of it entirely. Believe me, I do. That's why the biggest concern is how much of an emotional gut punch is those final 3 minutes. That when Nick Nurse called that timeout, they were wheeling out the trophies. And over the course of those final 3 minutes, the Raptors' offense, which had been playing so well, went 1 for 6 and scored 2 points. And the defense, which had done a good job throughout the series of staying attached, gave Steph and Clay good looks. And do you have a hangover from that? We saw the closest facsimile to this would have been the Ray Allen shot in Game 6 and then the response in Game 7. Spurs did not have a hangover in that game. Spurs came out ready to play. Tim Duncan had a little baby hook shot with 40 seconds left to tie that basketball game. He just missed it. LeBron then goes and hits the jumper, and the Heat are champions. But that team had more championship experience than this one. That team had more guys who had been in that moment at that level than this one, and that team had a coach who knew what the moment was. I think that...
So now we're getting back into, that's the same analysis you had before the series started.
Right, but see,
and we have the luxury of seeing 5 games, but that's the same thing that the public said before game number 1.
Absolutely correct. And now we will see how they respond to what I believe to be a emotionally devastating moment.
The most level team with the most level player. The thing that we said, the difference between Toronto now, because of Kawhi, they're not emotionally up and down. We saw after they won game number 4, what did Kawhi do? Walk right off the court, just like anything else. We have to be able to give them credit. We can't start creating things. They talked about in the press conference, it takes 4 wins. It doesn't matter how many games, it takes 4 wins. And they're still, same goal. They are 1 win away. And the desperation is in Golden State because they threw out their desperation. That was Kevin Durant. They forced him onto the court in the last game. And there has to be a hangover from that. You think the fans in Oracle, they don't feel that? Kevin Durant not anywhere in the building. Kevin Durant might be in New York when the game is being played. I believe that we need to watch for as far as a hangover effect.
All right, take a break. Coming up, speaking of Kevin Durant, what will the Knicks do now that KD is injured? That's next on First Things First.
Today's Best Western? What does that mean?
Today's Best Western is over 4,200 hotels worldwide and a variety of hotel brands. It's vibrant, a feel of home, and a friendly hello, all with a refined glow. And with rewards points that never expire, you get free nights fast.
Wow.
Now get a $20 Best Western gift card after your first stay. Book